Hello everyone, this is Maria's Lawyer, and today we're going to be discussing the relevant topic that is the Nintendo Switch Lite versus the original model. How they differ, and maybe even what model is best for you. So today we're going to be focusing primarily on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Keep in mind that this is a part 2 video, so if you have not yet seen my part 1 video on what the original Nintendo Switch has to offer, trust me, you're going to want to be familiar with the original Nintendo Switch before we dive into the Switch Lite. That being said, if you are not currently acquainted with the original Nintendo Switch, watch my part 1 video, then come back here. For everyone else, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Alright, so let's get this out of the way first. At launch, the Nintendo Switch Lite will be available in 3 different colors, yellow, black, and turquoise, with a special edition based off of the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield games coming November 8th. And I must say, the new Switch Lite models look very vibrant in these colors. With that out of the way, the Nintendo Switch Lite will launch September 20th, 2019, so while we wait, we're going to discuss how it differs from the original Nintendo Switch. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that it's missing a few things. Remember how the original Nintendo Switch had 3 modes of play? TV mode where you play on your TV, handheld mode where you play like this, and tabletop mode where you play like this? Well, Nintendo has announced that the Switch Lite will be a dedicated handheld, meaning that TV mode and tabletop mode will not be available for it. Now, because the Switch Lite is a handheld-only console, the only things you get right out of the box are the system itself. Oh, wait. The system itself and the AC adapter, that's all you get. Now here's another key part that's missing. You cannot take off the sides of the Switch Lite and use them as individual controllers. Although if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because if you're only going to be using the system in handheld mode, then you don't really need extra controllers. For a similar reason, they have also removed the kickstand on the Switch Lite. And because the microSD card slot used to be hidden beneath the kickstand, they have relocated the microSD card slot to be under the system. Lastly, because the IR camera from the original Switch was only used when the Joy-Cons were detached, it never made it to the Switch Lite. And I guess Nintendo may have thought the same way about HD Rumble, because it didn't make its way to Switch Lite either. Before you click away because this video is getting too negative, don't worry, I'm just about to get to the advantages, but I think there are some disadvantages you need to know about first. Stick around. It's fair to say that the Switch Lite is not the same as the original Switch, so there are always going to be downsides for going with the cheaper option. Here's an example. Not only does the Nintendo Switch Lite only support handheld mode, but you can only buy games for it that support handheld mode. Luckily, these types of games are few and are generally thought of as less than quality games. A lot of these games did not do so hot on the market, for example 1-2-Switch and ARMS. However, I know the fact that the Switch Lite will not work with Super Mario Party or any Nintendo Labo kit is going to disappoint some people. But now hold on a minute. Couldn't you technically just go out and buy extra Joy-Cons to play these games? Absolutely you can. Is it worth it? If this is your first Nintendo Switch system, allow me to explain why. So you go out, you buy your Switch Lite for $200, right? And then you go out, you buy your pair of Joy-Cons, right? But here's the thing. 2 individual Joy-Cons are, get ready for this, $80. Okay, you got your Joy-Cons, good. But, how are you going to charge them? Because if you remember, on the original Switch, you just slide them onto the sides, right? Well, you can't do that on the Switch Lite, so guess what? You gotta buy a charger for the Joy-Cons. Now, I believe the only official separate Joy-Con charger is the Joy-Con charging grip. And that's, get this, $30 more. So that's fine, you got 2 Joy-Cons, you got a way to charge them, you've got your Switch Lite, but if you want a kickstand, go find a third-party kickstand for more money. So by this point, that's $310 or more than a regular Nintendo Switch. And yet you still can't even play on your TV. Here's another disadvantage. A big marketing factor of the original Nintendo Switch was the ability to play together with friends anytime, anywhere. And while it's still technically possible with the Nintendo Switch Lite via online play, you need to go out and buy a Nintendo Switch Online membership, which is sold separately. There's one last thing about the Switch Lite that I've noticed that is a bit strange. Nintendo has decided to keep the analog sticks on the Switch Lite, rather than downgrade them to a circle pad like they did with their previous line of handhelds. Now, don't get me wrong, I like analog sticks just as much as the next guy, and they have a better overall feel to them than the circle pads, but the reason that circle pads existed in the first place was so that the hardware would be more compact and easier to take with you. The analog sticks on the Switch Lite, however, stick out from the system, so they are much more likely to get caught on something when you take the system out or put it away. Over time, this can cause stick drift and damage your $200 system. Alright, I apologize for getting a little too carried away with the whole extra Joy-Cons matter, but you know what? I forgive myself, because now I finally get to talk about how this new Switch model does so much right, and in my opinion, is an excellent alternative to the original. The Switch Lite takes everything the original model did right with handheld mode and made it even better. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Now that the sides are no longer required to function as individual controllers, we get our D-pad back! Secondly, the system itself is not as big and bulky as the original. I've heard lengthwise that it's about as long as the original Switch, with one Joy-Con attached. In addition, it won't be as tall as the original, but it won't be any thinner. It still certainly won't fit in your jeans pocket, but it probably will fit in your coat pocket, which is great. Though it's nothing to brag about, its battery life is 3 to 7 hours, a slight improvement from the original Switch's 2.5 to 6.5 hours. However, this really won't be anything to brag about after the original model is re-released with a 4.5 to 9 hour battery life. Lastly, let's not forget about the much more accessible $200 price point. Finally, after thoroughly reviewing what both models have to offer, which one's the better deal? Well, I think it depends. Before I get into which one's best for you, keep in mind that these are both brilliant systems in my opinion, so I'd say you can't go wrong with either one. But that still doesn't mean that one might not suit you better than the other, so keep the following things in mind before making your decision. If you think, A, you're serious about buying a Switch and you want to have access to everything it has to offer, B, you don't leave the house all of the time or don't see yourself taking the Switch with you frequently, or C, you'd like to play Switch games with your friends or family, then you are going to want the original Switch. But on the contrary, if you, A, see yourself as more of a casual gamer, B, don't have a lot of spare time at home, or C, play a lot of games solo, then the bite-sized, travel-friendly Switch Lite may be the better option. However, even if you already have the original Nintendo Switch in your household, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't add a Switch Lite to your family. After all, once everyone's done playing on the big screen together, you might want some alone time. But what if somebody already left the house and took the Switch with them? It might be a good idea to have a Switch Lite on you just in case. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the Switch versus the Switch Lite. If you made it this far in the video without skipping, you deserve my congratulations. If you have a minute, let me know up here. If you had to get a Switch model and you had $300 to spend, would you go all in and buy the original? Or would you start with the Switch Lite and maybe use the extra money to buy a game or two? Otherwise, if you liked this video, let the world know you did. If you're looking forward to my next video, here's a list of videos I'm planning on making. Let me know in the comments which one you'd like me to make first. Since I'm still a small channel, that means I actually read the comments. No, this isn't looking too good. I asked them to like the video, I asked them to leave comments, heck, I even asked them to take a poll. It's almost all the symptoms on this list. Well, at least I didn't ask them to subscribe. Then I would definitely have all the symptoms of YouTuber disease. Hold on, am I missing anything? Is there something on the back here? Nope, nothing on the back. I can't explain, so I won't.